The sky turned red above New York City. People stopped walking and looked up. Giant ships appeared through the clouds. They were dark and shaped like diamonds. Each one was bigger than 10 football fields put together. Major Steve Clark was in the Pentagon when the first reports came in. He had been waiting for this day for 15 years. The aliens had finally arrived, just as the secret government files had warned they would. "Get me the president," Steve said to his assistant. His voice was calm, but his heart was racing. They had prepared for this, but now that it was happening, it felt unreal. The aliens called themselves the Drakari. They sent a message to every TV, radio, and phone on Earth at the same time. Their leader, High Commander Zolvan, had a face, with scales and sharp teeth. His yellow eyes showed no emotion. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "your planet now belongs to the Drakari Empire. Surrender now and you may live as our servants. Resist and you will be destroyed. You have 6 hours to decide." President Laura Mitchell sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by generals and advisors. She had been told about the secret space program on her first day in office. Now she would be the one to reveal it to the world. "How ready are we?" she asked General Ryan Daniels, the head of Earth Defense. "We've been ready for decades, Madam President," he replied. "Project Sentinel is fully operational. We have ships and weapons they don't know about. We can fight." The president nodded and pressed a button on the table. A screen showed the United Nations building where world leaders had gathered for an emergency meeting. "People of Earth," President Mitchell said, her voice strong and clear. "Today we face a threat unlike any in human history. The Drakari think we are weak and helpless. They are wrong. Miles above Earth, hidden bases on the moon powered up. Secret hangars built inside craters opened to reveal hundreds of fighter ships. These weren't ordinary planes. They used technology that official science said was impossible. Captain Lisa Woods climbed into her fighter. She had trained in secret for 7 years, flying missions in space that the public never knew about. Her ship, the Eagle 7, could fly. In space and air, it had weapons that could cut through alien armor. "Eagle Squadron, prepare for launch," she said into her helmet. "Remember your training. Today we fight for all of humanity." On Earth, regular people were scared and confused. Jack Porter watched the alien ships from his apartment window in Chicago. He had been a high school science teacher just that morning. Now the world was ending. His phone rang. It was his brother Ben, who worked for NASA. Jack had always thought Ben was just an engineer working on satellites. "Jack, listen carefully," Ben said. "Get to the basement of the library on 5th Street. Show them your ID. Tell them Eagle sent you. There's a shelter there." "What's going on, Ben? What aren't you telling me?" Jack asked. "We've known they were coming," Ben said. "Some of us have been preparing. I can't say more. Just go." In space, the Drakari fleet positioned itself around Earth. There were 50 of their massive ships. Their commander, Zolvan, was confident. His scouts had reported that humans only had primitive rockets and simple weapons. This would be an easy conquest. "The humans have not responded to our demands," his second-in-command reported. "The deadline has passed." "Begin the attack," Zolvan ordered. "Target their major cities first." The first Drakari ship fired at New York. A beam of energy shot toward the city. But before it hit, something strange happened. A blue shield appeared in the sky, stopping the beam. Zolvan stood up from his command chair. "What is this? Shields? The humans don't have shield technology." "Sir," a Drakari officer said with fear in his voice, "we're detecting energy readings from Earth's moon. Many small vessels are launching." Captain Lisa Woods led Eagle Squadron toward the Drakari fleet. "All pilots, engage according to plan. Remember your training. They don't know what we can do." The Eagle fighters were small and fast. They darted between the huge Drakari ships, firing weapons that cut through alien armor like it was paper. In New York, the Pentagon, Major Steve Clark watched the battle on screens. "Deploy the orbital platforms," he ordered. Around Earth, hidden satellites revealed themselves. They had been disguised as space junk and old-weather satellites. Now they powered up, revealing powerful weapons. On his ship, Zolvan couldn't believe what was happening. 3 of his ships were already damaged. Human fighters were everywhere using technology the Drakari thought was centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. "This is impossible," he shouted. "How do they have these weapons? How are we so wrong?" In orbit around Mars, hidden from the Drakari sensors, the largest human ships waited. The UES Defiant, Earth's first proper warship, was half the size of a Drakari ship but twice as powerful. It had been built in secret using technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship found decades ago. Admiral Paul Jones gave the order. "All ships, move in. It's time to show them who they're dealing with." The Earth ships appeared from behind Mars, catching the Drakari by surprise from behind. Their weapons tore through the alien fleet. On Earth, people watched the sky as bright flashes appeared. They didn't know it was a battle. They didn't know humans were winning. In the secret shelter under the library, Jack Porter sat with hundreds of other civilians. A screen showed what was happening in space. People cheered as they watched human ships defeating the aliens. "How is this possible?" a woman next to Jack asked. "When did we get spaceships?" An old man in a military uniform stood up. "We found one of their scout ships in 1947. Roswell wasn't a weather balloon. We learned from it. We built our own ships. We've been preparing for this day for over 70 years. In space, Zolvan realized he had made a terrible mistake. His fleet was destroyed or damaged. He opened a channel to Earth. "This is impossible," he said. "You are a primitive species. How do you have this technology?" President Mitchell answered personally. "You should have done better research, Commander. Humans don't like being threatened. We don't surrender. And we're very good at keeping secrets." The remaining Drakari ships began to retreat. Captain Lisa Woods and her fighters continued their attack, disabling 3 more ships. On a distant planet, the Galactic Council watched in shock. Earth had been classified as a primitive world, not worth attention. Now they had defeated one of the strongest fleets in the galaxy. "We have made a grave error," said High Counselor Zan. "The humans are not what we thought they were." As the last Drakari ships fled, Admiral Jones sent a message that would be received by all watching alien races. "This is Admiral Paul Jones of Earth. To any who might be listening, we know you're out there. We've always known. And now you know us. Remember this day. Remember what happens when you choose to invade Earth." 3 days after the failed invasion, the world was still in shock. People everywhere watched the skies, afraid more alien ships might come. But they also felt proud. Humans had fought back and won. In Washington, D.C., President Mitchell called a special meeting. Leaders from all major countries gathered in a room deep under the White House. This room didn't exist in any official blueprints. "It's time to tell the world everything," President Mitchell said. "They deserve to know what we've been doing for the last 70 years. General Daniels shook his head. "Madam President, some of this information is still dangerous. The public might panic if they learn how long we've known about aliens." "They just saw alien ships in the sky," she replied. "I think that secret is out." On the other side of the solar system, Captain Lisa Woods and her squadron guarded the damaged Drakari ship they had captured. The alien vessel was being towed to the secret base on Mars. Scientists were eager to study it. "Eagle 3, stay in position," Lisa said into her radio. "We don't know if they have backup systems that might activate." Inside the captured ship, Dr. Eric Grant led a team of scientists in special suits. They had been studying alien technology for decades, but never had access to something this advanced before. "Look at this engine room," Eric said, his voice full of excitement. "Their power source is unlike anything we've reversed engineered before. This could advance our technology by 20 years. One of the scientists found a strange device with symbols on it. When she touched it, it lit up and projected a star map. It showed Earth, but also highlighted 7 other planets in different star systems. "Dr. Grant, you need to see this," she called out. "I think this is their invasion plan." Earth wasn't the only target. Far away, on the planet Xanthar, the Galactic Council met in an emergency session. The Council ruled over 300 alien species from across the galaxy. They had existed for thousands of years, watching and guiding the development of new civilizations. High Counselor Zan stood before the gathered representatives. His forearms were held up in the traditional gesture of alarm. "The humans have technology they should not possess," he said. "Our observers classified Earth as a level 2 civilization, but they have level 5 weapons and shields. This breaks all our rules of development." Ambassador Krell of the Drakari stood up. His scales were dark with anger. "Someone has helped them. Someone gave them advanced technology. The humans couldn't have developed these weapons on their own." Many voices shouted at once. Some blamed the Drakari for attacking without council permission. Others worried about what humans might do next. "Silence," Zan shouted. "We must learn more before we act. I am sending a diplomatic ship to Earth. We will talk to these humans and find out how they acquired such technology." Back on Earth, in a small town in Kansas, a farmer named Joe Miller watched government trucks drive toward an old barn on his land. For 50 years, his family had been paid to keep people away from that barn. He never knew what was inside. Now soldiers were removing something large covered with tarps. It looked like part of a ship. Joe realized his family had been hiding a piece of alien technology all this time. All across America, similar scenes played out. Secret storage facilities were being opened. Hidden technology was moved to public research centers. The president's orders were clear: no more secrets. In New York, the United Nations building was packed. Every country had sent representatives. The world watched on TV as President Mitchell took the stage. "People of Earth," she began. "For decades, a secret international group has been preparing for the day aliens would find us. We recovered technology from crashed scout ships. We built our own fleet. We hid bases on the Moon and Mars, all to protect humanity when this day came." People in the crowd looked shocked. Some were angry that such important information had been kept secret. Others were relieved that Earth had been protected. "From today forward," the president continued, "this will no longer be a secret program. We are creating the Earth Defense Force. All nations will participate. We will share the technology we've developed. Together, we will take our place among the stars." On the moon base, Admiral Jones received an urgent message. The long-range sensors had detected a ship approaching Earth. It wasn't Drakari. It was a new type they hadn't seen before. "Alert all defense platforms," he ordered. "But don't fire unless I give the command. This might be someone else." The new alien ship stopped just beyond Mars orbit. It sent a message in several Earth languages. "People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We wish to speak with your leaders about recent events." President Mitchell called an emergency meeting. "What do we know about this Galactic Council?" she asked. Major Steve Clark brought up files on a screen. "From the data we've gathered over the years, the Council controls most of the known galaxy. They have rules about how civilizations should develop. They classify planets based on technology level. Earth was listed as primitive. And yet we just defeated one of their member species," the president said. "That must have gotten their attention." "We should be careful," General Daniels warned. "The Drakari were just one species. The Council might have much more powerful members." The president thought for a moment. "Send this message. We will meet with Council representatives. They may send 3 delegates to our United Nations building. No weapons. We have many questions about why a Council member tried to invade our world without warning." In his private quarters on the Council ship, Ambassador Lorne prepared for the meeting. He had studied humans for years, but never expected to actually meet them. They were supposed to be centuries away from joining galactic society. "How could we have been so wrong about them?" he asked his assistant. "Our observers reported they had just invented basic space travel. Nothing suggested they had ships that could fight the Drakari. The files say humans are very good at keeping secrets," his assistant replied. "Perhaps they are more dangerous than we thought." Admiral Jones insisted on being at the meeting with the Council representatives. As the alien ship approached Earth, he stood next to President Mitchell at the United Nations. "Remember," he said quietly, "we still have our fleet positioned throughout the solar system. If this goes badly, we're ready." The president nodded. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." But after the Drakari, I'm not taking any chances with alien visitors. Humanity has earned its right to exist. It's time the galaxy learned that. The meeting with the Galactic Council representatives was set to take place at the United Nations building in New York. Security was tight. Soldiers with special weapons stood guard. Scientists had set up devices to detect any hidden alien technology. 3. Beings from the Council ship landed in a small shuttle. They looked very different from the Drakari. They had blue skin and 4 arms each. Their eyes were large and silver. They wore simple white robes with colorful symbols. Ambassador Lorne led the alien group. He bowed slightly to President Mitchell. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Council. I am Ambassador Lorne of the Zinthari people. We wish to understand what has happened here." The president did not smile. "What happened is that one of your council members tried to invade our world without warning. We defended ourselves." Inside the meeting room, large screens showed images from space. They displayed Earth's fleet and defense systems. Admiral Jones wanted the aliens to see exactly what humans were capable of. "We have questions," he said firmly. "How long has this council been watching Earth? Why didn't you stop the Drakari attack?" Ambassador Lorne looked uncomfortable. "The council observes many developing worlds. Earth was classified as a Level 2 civilization. Our laws forbid contact until a species reaches Level 3, which means regular space travel beyond their own system. And yet the Drakari came to conquer us," General Daniel said. "Do your laws allow that?" "No," Lorne admitted. "The Drakari broke our laws by attacking you. They will be punished. But we are more concerned with how you defeated them. Your technology is far beyond Level 2. Someone must have helped you develop it." Major Steve Clark laughed. "No one helped us. We helped ourselves." He showed the aliens pictures of crashed ships from the past century. "Your people haven't been as careful as you think. We've been finding your crashed scout ships since at least 1947. We studied them. We learned from them. We built our own versions." The aliens looked shocked. This was not what they expected to hear. Dr. Eric Grant joined the meeting. He had just come from studying the captured Drakari ship. "Your civilizations may be older than ours, but humans learn quickly. What takes you centuries, we figure out in decades." On the moon base, Captain Lisa Woods received a strange message. It came from far away, beyond the solar system. At first, she thought it might be from another alien fleet, but when she decoded it, she realized it was from humans. "Admiral," she called urgently, "we're receiving a transmission from Alpha Centauri. It's from our deep space probe, the one we sent 10 years ago in secret." The probe had been Earth's first attempt to reach another star system. It carried messages from humanity and basic scientific equipment. No one expected to hear from it for many years. "What does it say?" Admiral Jones asked over the secure line. "It says it found something, a planet with signs of life, and something else, an abandoned station, not natural, built by someone. This news would change everything." Humans had found alien ruins without the Council's help or knowledge. Back at the UN meeting, Ambassador Lorne was trying to explain the Council's rules. "We have strict laws about developing civilizations. Species must advance at their own pace. When they reach certain levels, they are invited to join the Council." "And who decided these levels?" President Mitchell asked. "Who gave you the right to judge which civilizations are worthy?" Before Lorne could answer, his assistant received an urgent message. His expression changed to one of alarm. "Ambassador," he whispered to Lorne, "the humans have more ships than we thought. Our sensors detect a fleet beyond Mars. They have a base on the far side of their moon, and something on the 4th planet as well." Lorne looked surprised. He turned back to the humans. "You have been very busy, more than we realized." "We've had to be," Admiral Jones said. "We knew we weren't alone in the universe. We knew someone might come with bad intentions, so we prepared." In homes across Earth, people watched the meeting on TV. For the first time, they saw aliens who had come to talk, not to fight. Many were still scared, but others felt curious and excited. Humanity was taking its first official steps into a larger universe. In a lab beneath the Pentagon, scientists studied the star map they had found on the Drakari ship. The 7 marked planets were all similar to Earth. The Drakari had been planning to invade them too. "We need to warn these worlds," said Dr. Linda Rivera, the lead scientist. "If they're like us, they might not know what's coming." She didn't yet realize that by helping these other worlds, humans would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. On his ship orbiting Earth, Ambassador Lorne sent a private message to the Council. "The humans are more advanced and more dangerous than we thought. They have reversed engineered our technology. They have built their own fleet, and they are angry that we allowed the Drakari to attack them." High Counselor Zan read the message with growing concern. "This changes everything. If the humans can do this, other worlds might follow their example. Our system of levels might fall apart." In the council chambers, debates raged. Some wanted to punish Earth for developing forbidden technology. Others argued that humans had only protected themselves and should be welcomed to the galactic community. Ambassador Krell of the Drakari was furious. "These humans have destroyed our ships. They have humiliated us. They must be taught a lesson." But many other representatives disagreed. They were impressed by how quickly humans had advanced. Some even suggested that the Council's rules about development levels were wrong. Back on Earth, President Mitchell and her advisors discussed what to do next. The meeting with the Council representatives had revealed much, but also raised new questions. "They've been watching us for centuries," General Daniels said. "They've let their ships scout our world. They've treated us like animals in a zoo. And they didn't protect us when the Drakari attacked," Admiral Jones added. "Can we trust anything they say?" The president looked thoughtful. "Perhaps not. But now we have their attention. And more importantly, we have something they didn't expect: the ability to fight back." Major Steve Clark brought in new information. "Our scientists have studied their communications. We can now understand their language better. And we've found something interesting. The Council is not as united as they pretend to be. Many species disagree with how things are run. That could be useful," the president said. "We might find allies among them." She turned to Admiral Jones. "Prepare our fleet. I don't want to start a war, but I want to be ready if they decide we're too dangerous to let alone." As night fell, over Earth, people everywhere looked up at the stars with new eyes. The universe was full of life, full of danger, but also full of possibilities. Humanity had survived its first contact with hostile aliens. Now they needed to find their place in a galaxy that had suddenly become much more complicated. And somewhere, in the vastness of space, other civilizations heard whispers about the humans of Earth, about how they had defeated the feared Drakari fleet, about how they had done what no Level 2 civilization should be able to do. Some were frightened by these stories. Others were inspired. But all of them wondered, what would the humans do next? A week after the meeting with the Council representatives, Earth was busy. Ships moved between Earth and the Moon. The secret was out, and now regular people could see what had been hidden for years. Dr. Linda Rivera led a team to study the star map from the Drakari ship. The 7 planets marked on it were all in different star systems. All of them were like Earth. All had life. "We need to warn them," she told President Mitchell during an urgent meeting. "The Drakari might still attack these worlds. They might not have the defenses we have." The president looked at Admiral Jones. "Can we send ships to these planets?" "We have 5 deep spaceships ready," he replied. "They can travel faster than light using the drive systems we developed. But it would take weeks to reach even the closest one." "Prepare the ships," the president ordered. "We'll send messages ahead of them. If these worlds are anything like ours, they deserve a chance to defend themselves." On the far side of the Moon, Earth's biggest ship was almost ready. The UES Hope was 3 times larger than any ship they had used against the Drakari. It had been built in secret over 10 years. Now it would be humanity's first official embassy to the stars. Captain Lisa Woods had been chosen to command it. She walked through the ship's bridge, checking systems. Her crew was the best Earth had to offer: pilots, scientists, soldiers, and diplomats from every nation. "Captain," her second-in-command called. We've detected unusual activity from the Council ship. They're sending lots of messages to somewhere beyond our solar system. Lisa frowned. Keep monitoring them. I don't trust them yet. In the Galactic Council's main chamber, far from Earth, a heated debate continued. Many species were angry at the Drakari for attacking Earth without permission, but others were more worried about what humans might do next. These humans built weapons from our own crashed ships, argued a representative from a gas giant world. They kept their abilities secret. How do we know they won't attack us next? High Counselor Zan tried to keep order. The humans only defended themselves, but their rapid development is concerning. No species has ever advanced so quickly. Because we never gave them the chance, shouted a smaller representative. This was Vex from a world that had only recently joined the Council. Your rules keep developing worlds weak and dependent. Perhaps the humans have shown us a better way. The debate split the Council into two groups, those who feared humans and those who admired them. Ambassador Krell of the Drakari saw an opportunity. His people had lost ships and pride in their failed invasion. Now he wanted revenge. He quietly met with representatives from other warrior species. The humans are dangerous, he told them in secret. If they share their methods with other young worlds, the old order will collapse. We must strike now while they are still confined to their solar system. On Earth, Major Steve Clark received an urgent message from one of their spy satellites. It had detected ships gathering near the edge of the solar system. These weren't Council ships. They looked like Drakari, but also other designs they hadn't seen before. They're forming a blockade, he told Admiral Jones. At least 30 ships, maybe more. They're positioning themselves to cut us off from the rest of the galaxy. The Admiral immediately called the President. We need to launch our ships now before they trap us in our own system. President Mitchell didn't hesitate. Launch the Deep Space Fleet. Send the UES Hope as well. They need to get past the blockade and reach those other worlds before it's too late. In his quarters on the Council ship, Ambassador Lorne received a message that made his four hands shake. His superiors had informed him that a faction of the Council, led by the Drakari, had decided to isolate Earth by force. They hadn't approved this action, but they weren't stopping it either. Lorne had spent his life following Council rules, but after meeting the humans, he had begun to question those rules. He made a difficult decision. He would warn the humans. He sent a secret message to the Earth leaders. Danger coming. Drakari and allies forming blockade. Council divided. Some want to help you, others fear you. Be careful. Captain Lisa Woods prepared her ship for emergency launch. The UES Hope had been scheduled for a ceremony and a proper send-off. Now it would leave in secret, in the shadow of the moon, hoping to slip past the gathering alien fleet. All stations, report ready, her second-in-command said. Lisa took a deep breath. Launch. The massive ship lifted off from the lunar surface. Its engines were nearly silent, using technology that didn't exist in official science books. The Hope accelerated quickly, heading away from Earth toward the edge of the solar system. 4 other ships launched from Mars Base 1. They were smaller and faster, designed for exploration rather than diplomacy. Each one headed toward a different star system, carrying warnings about the Drakari and offers of alliance from Earth. On his ship at the edge of the solar system, Krell watched with satisfaction as more allies joined his blockade. Soon they would have enough ships to completely surround the human system. The Council was too divided to act, which gave him the freedom to deal with the human problem himself. A junior officer rushed to his side. Commander, we've detected energy. Signatures leaving the human system. 5 ships moving very fast. Krell slammed his fist on the control panel. Impossible. They can't have that many deep space vessels. Intercept them immediately. But the Earth ships were faster than he expected. They changed course, darting between the gaps in his blockade. His ships fired, but most of the shots missed. One Earth ship took damage but kept going. The others, including the massive UES Hope, broke through the blockade and disappeared into the darkness of space. Krell roared in anger. The humans had escaped. Worse, they were now heading to other developing worlds. If they reached those planets and shared their technology and methods, more worlds might rise up against the Council's rules. In the Council chamber, news of the blockade and the humans' escape caused chaos. Many representatives demanded to know who had authorized a military action against Earth. Others worried about what the humans would do next. High Counselor Zan struggled to maintain control. We must send representatives to follow the human ships. We must ensure they don't disrupt the natural development of other worlds. But Vex, the representative from the younger world, laughed. Natural development? There is nothing natural about keeping worlds ignorant and vulnerable. The humans have shown us that your way is wrong. More representatives began to side with Vex. The Council, which had stood unchanged for thousands of years, was beginning to fracture. On the UES Hope, Captain Lisa Wood set course for the nearest marked planet. According to their calculations, it would take 2 weeks to reach. She hoped they would arrive in time. Send a message to Earth, she told her communications officer. Tell them we've broken through. We're on our way to warn the others. In the ship's science lab, Dr. Eric Grant studied the data they had gathered about the blockade. These other species are following the Drakari lead, but they don't seem united. Some of their ships weren't even in proper formation. I think the blockade was put together in a hurry. That could mean the Council itself didn't approve it, Lisa said. Ambassador Lorne's warning suggests the same thing. The Council is divided about how to deal with us. And that gives us an opportunity, said Maria Chen, the ship's diplomatic officer. If we can find allies among Council species, especially the older, more powerful ones, we might avoid a larger conflict. As the Earth ships raced toward distant stars, humanity held its breath. They had defeated one invasion and escaped a blockade. But the real challenge was just beginning. Could they find allies before the Drakari and their friends attacked again? Could they help other worlds defend themselves? And what would happen to the Galactic Council now that humans had broken all its rules? The galaxy was changing, and Earth was leading that change. 6 months passed since Earth ships broke through the blockade. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The UES Hope reached the first planet on the Drakari target list. It was a world called Terrace by its people. They looked almost like humans, but with purple skin and silver hair. Their technology was similar to Earth's in the 1990s. They had just started exploring their own solar system. Captain Lisa Wood sent a message to the planet. She explained who they were and why they had come. At first, the Terrace people were scared. They had never met aliens before. But when Lisa told them about the Drakari invasion plans, they agreed to meet. The leaders of Terrace welcomed the humans, with caution. Lisa showed them proof of the Drakari plans and offered to help them build defenses. We were like you not long ago, she explained. Alone and vulnerable. The powerful species in the galaxy kept us ignorant. They watched us but never helped us. We don't want the same fate for you. On Earth, more changes were happening. Using technology from the captured Drakari ship, scientists had made new discoveries. They created better medicine, cleaner energy, and faster transportation. People's lives were improving quickly. But they also built more weapons and ships. The blockade around Earth's solar system had grown stronger. Krell and his allies were determined to keep humans contained. President Mitchell met with her advisors daily. Reports from their deep space ships brought both good and worrying news. The Hope has made contact with Terrace, Admiral Jones reported. They've agreed to an alliance. Our other ships have reached 3 more planets on the list. All of them were willing to work with us after learning about the Drakari threat. What about the Council? The President asked. Any word from Ambassador Lorne? Major Steve Clark nodded. He's been sending us updates secretly. The Council is still divided. Some members want to recognize Earth as an equal. Others want to punish us for breaking their rules. In the Galactic Council chamber, the debate had grown more heated. More species had joined Vex in questioning the old ways. They argued that the Council's rules about development levels were wrong and harmful. For thousands of years, we've watched younger species struggle, Vex said. We've let them suffer wars, plagues, and natural disasters. all because of rules created long ago. The humans have shown us there is another way. High Counselor Zan tried to maintain order, but it was becoming harder. More representatives were listening to Vex. Some even suggested that humans should be invited to join the council, despite being far younger than any current member. Ambassador Krell was furious. His blockade had failed to completely contain Earth. Human ships had reached 4 other developing worlds. They were sharing technology and methods that took the Drakari centuries to develop. This cannot continue, he told his allies. We must strike now, with everything we have. Destroy Earth and these other rebellious worlds before it's too late. But not all his allies agreed. Some had been watching the humans with growing respect. They saw how quickly Earth recovered from the invasion. They saw how humans worked together, despite their differences. Some began to wonder if Krell was right about the human threat. On Terrace, humans helped the purple-skinned people build their first real space fleet. Engineers and scientists from Earth worked alongside local experts. They made progress in months that should have taken decades. Your people learn even faster than ours, Dr. Eric Grant told the Terrace science leader. With your creativity and our head start, you'll surpass us soon. Similar scenes played out on the other worlds Earth had contacted. Each species brought new ideas and approaches. Together, they were advancing faster than any single species could alone. Back on Earth, a message arrived from deep space. It wasn't from their ships or from the Council. It was from another species that had been watching events with interest. We are the Alzari, the message said. We have observed the changes you have started in the galaxy. For too long, we have disagreed with the Council's rules but lacked the strength to challenge them. Now we offer our friendship and support. The Alzari were an old species, almost as old as the founding Council members, but they had chosen to stay apart, watching from the edges of known space. Now, they saw an opportunity for change. Admiral Jones brought the message directly to the President. This could change everything. The Alzari have advanced technology in many worlds. With their help, we might break the blockade completely. President Mitchell studied the message carefully. Invite them to Earth. I want to meet these potential allies in person. On the edge of the solar system, the blockade faced a new problem. Ships were arriving from worlds that had traditionally stayed neutral in Council matters. They came not to join the blockade, but to challenge it. Krell watched in growing alarm as ships from 5 different species positioned themselves opposite his forces. What are they doing here? This isn't their concern. His second-in-command looked worried. They say they're here to ensure free passage. They say the blockade violates ancient rights of travel between stars. Krell knew what was really happening. The balance of power was shifting. The humans had started something that was spreading throughout the galaxy. Species that had accepted the Council's rules for centuries were now questioning them. In the Council chamber, the final debate began. After months of argument, they would vote on whether to recognize Earth and its allies as equals, despite their young age. Ambassador Lorne spoke in favor of the humans. We have been wrong. Our rules were meant to protect developing worlds, but instead we left them vulnerable. The humans defended themselves when we failed to protect them. Now they are doing what we should have done, helping other young worlds survive. High Counselor Zan called for the vote. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Council would change its most fundamental rules. On Earth, people gathered, in cities to watch the news. The vote would determine humanity's future. Would they be accepted as equals in the galaxy, or would they face a greater war? As they waited, a fleet of ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. But these weren't attacking. They were breaking through the blockade from the outside. Leading them was a massive ship unlike any they had seen before. It carried representatives from the Alzari and from other worlds that had chosen to side with Earth. Krell's blockade fell apart as ships from his own side began to leave. They had seen the changes coming and didn't want to be on the losing side when the dust settled. At the United Nations building, President Mitchell received the news from the Council vote. She smiled as she read it. The Council has voted to end the system of development levels, she announced to the world. All species, regardless of age or technology level, will now have equal rights. They have invited Earth to send an official representative to join the council. Admiral Jones looked pleased but cautious. And the Drakari? What about Krell and his faction? They lost the vote badly, the president said. The council has ordered them to end the blockade and pay compensation for their unauthorized attack. On Earth. Captain Lisa Woods received the news on Terrace. She gathered her crew to tell them, "What we've done here is just the beginning. Earth is now part of a larger community. We've helped change the rules of the galaxy." Maria Chen, the diplomatic officer, smiled. "All because the Drakari made the mistake of invading us." "A very expensive mistake for them," Lisa agreed. "They chose to invade the one planet they should have avoided." In homes across Earth, people celebrated the news. Children looked at the stars with new hope. The universe had turned out to be a dangerous place, but humans had proven they could not only survive in it, they could change it for the better. On the far side of the galaxy, young species that had never heard of Earth felt the effects of what humans had started. Council observers who had hidden their presence for centuries suddenly appeared, offering knowledge and help instead of just watching. And in the council chamber, a simple plaque was placed on the newly created human seat. It contained a message that was quickly becoming famous throughout the galaxy. "You chose to invade Earth? Of all the planets in the galaxy, you picked the one that would not only fight back, but change the rules of the game. Remember this lesson. Never underestimate a species that has fought its own kind for thousands of years. They know more about war than you ever will." As Earth's first official council representative took her seat, the galaxy held its breath. The age of secrets and separation was over. A new age of cooperation and shared knowledge had begun. And it had all started because one advanced species had made a simple mistake. They had chosen to invade Earth.